Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the America Guns and Freedom podcast with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. As always, I don't decide what we talk about. You decide what we talk about. So if you've got questions or topics you want to suggest, put them in the live chat. Just make sure to put out the Yankee Marshal on them. Or if you want to ask your questions via email, maybe you want to send over some pictures or something, the email address is shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. And if you want to do it in a way that you get entries into the drawings by supporting the Pets and Vets program, you can go over to the live chat there, go to the top. There's a link that says Phil Ties P&V Super Chat link. Well, actually, it says ink because I think I misspelled it. But you can use that link or ink and go over and donate to the Pets and Vets Fund via PayPal, and you'll get entries into the drawings. Tonight's knife we're giving away is the SR. SR1 light. This is a nice knife. This is a sturdy knife. Look how thick that blade is. And the back, of course. But feel free to go over and, like I said, donate over there. You'll get entries into not only the knife drawing tonight, but you can also get entries if you donate through PayPal. You'll get one entry for every $5 through Patreon or so through YouTube, and $2 for every $5. 2 entries for every $5 over on PayPal. That's for the knife. And tonight, if you donate 10 to get an entry into the double super secret Bobcat giveaway, tonight, if you donate on PayPal, that's the only way you can get entries into that. You'll get 2 entries because I'm doubling the entries for tonight only because we only got another day or two. So I got to get some incentive for people to donate on this. So feel free to go over and get entries by doing a super chat through PayPal. And those will actually get priority when we go over and start jibber jabbering about things. Not doing a shooting the shit tonight because I am too upset, too disappointed in the gun community, and things coming to. I just knocked my empty can off. Things coming to fruition that I said would, and people don't want to listen to me because I'm a crazy old man. But this crazy old man has seen some shit and knows some things, and I told you exactly where this was going to lead. So I'm mad. But what else is new? So feel free, like I said, weigh in via the YouTube super chat or the PayPal super chat. You'll get entries either way, but you'll get more if you go through PayPal because we actually get to keep that money. As usual, I like to start the chat by reading if anybody has ordered any merchandise over the last 24 hours, but I don't think we've sold any merchandise. But that's partially my fault because I haven't made any new merchandise for a while. I need to start making some new designs. I just haven't been able to get into the mood. I started one the other night. I just got to finish it, and then hopefully I'll start another. But since I can't do that, since we didn't get anything, I will do my little spiel here, and then we'll get to the questions. And the spiel's simple. If you want to support the channel, go over to TYMPpistolproject.com. There's a link in the upper corner of this page. That's my channel. From there, you can do everything you need to do with the channel. You can donate one time to Pets and Vets, one time to whatever you want. You can become a Patreon supporter. You can become a Substar supporter. Or you can go to my webpage and get merchandise like my Preppa Pig. You know, Preppa Pig is prepared. Are you? So you can go over and get merchandise like this. One of the people on my video today said, love that. My wife loves that shirt. And I'm like, well, then buy her one, you cheap bastard. There's links right there to buy one. They didn't because we ain't sold nothing, but that's usually what it's like when you make something like this. People are like, that's awesome. And they're like, okay, well, then buy one. Oh, God, no. In art, one of the main rules of art is if you really want to know how good your stuff is, charge for it. Everybody loves it if you're giving away, but if you're charging for it, you'll see what people really think. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel. You know, you can either do that through watching this video, hit that join button, and then hit the bell and select all the notifications. If you select some, you'll get none, so select all. Or you can go over to my actual YouTube homepage and do the same thing. It's also linked in the upper corner of this video. Based on my search, I found that the Liberty Dial channel has at least one video that discusses negative aspects of the Sig Sauer P320 titled Sig's Troubles Get Worse, Bans Secret Documents. Yeah, I saw that, the secret documents thing. Like, don't talk shit like that. You ain't seen no secret documents. If it's on the internet, it ain't a secret fucking document. And plus, here's the thing, if things are secrets, they don't write them down. So That's the number one rule of secret keeping. You know, I was military intelligence, and I can tell you one of the number one rules. Well, number one rule is there's two types of secrets: those that people have already told, and those they will tell. So you can't keep a secret. And two, don't write shit down. And if you write something down, use code. Don't say real things. Hell, the mafia even knows that. But as I was saying, got distracted by an email there. I did my spiel. So let's go see if we got any questions coming in. Activity, all transactions. Boom. What's today's date? Today is the 29th or the 28th? I think it's the 28th. Discord charged me $5.37. And then Google charged me $2.16 for some reason. And then Officer Tater Hater chimed in and said, I sent emails. I saw the one about the female Karen cop, and I will reiterate once again, women shouldn't be cops. Not only because of their physical limitations, but because of their attitude. A lot of people say, well, women are more caring and more kind and more de-escalating. Not the kind of women that become police. They got something to prove. But yeah, then it goes on. It degrades into some nasty stuff after that. Johnny Mandrick chimed in and said, do you believe Labor Day is a socialist holiday like Trump believes? I don't care what Trump believes. I mean, that man's not that bright. He's not stupid, but I don't know if it's he's not bright, but he tries to find things that he thinks will resonate with the lowest of his base and just try to get them fired up. It's stupid. It's stupid shit. It's getting old. It's like Jeffrey Epstein thing comes to light. They start sending the National Guard places. People don't let go of that. Well, yesterday they're talking about flag burning all day long and how they're going to put everybody in jail for a year for flag burning, which is like the most un-American thing I've ever heard. And now today they're sending just garbage. And what you're talking about Labor Day, it's rage bait. Is all it is it's rage bait so that you're talking about anything other than the Epstein files or how our economy is fucking crumbling right now. I just read the latest economy report about jobs, and it was talking about how like job creation's non-existent. The only thing driving the GDP right now is basically billion-dollar companies buying back stock and buying back goods from poorer people, stockholders, etc. It's just every indicator negative. And yet people think we're winning. We're so sick of winning. We win anymore, we'll be a third world country. So getting tiresome. And that ain't helping me none. Those kind of rants right there with the YouTube gun tube base. They're pissed at me now today because I said something about Liberty Doll. I didn't tear her down or anything. I just said this is what I said would happen when people get engaged in this kind of shit. But I've lost like 6 patrons today, and 2 of them mentioned that they're also patrons of Liberty Doll, and they're not going to support me now. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. She's got probably way more patrons than I do. I mean, she's got about the same amount of subs, but she got hers in like a year. It's taken me 16 years to get that many subs. Maybe if I had titties, I would do better. And I'd do better than her if I had titties because I'd push mine up to my chin, and I'd barely cover the nipples. She's doing it wrong. She's wasting her titties. But like I was saying, she's got more viewership than me. I'm sure she's got more Patreon members than me, and I'm losing the overlap. The people that are overlapping that do both of us are dropping out for mine because she said something that's now being used against Sig, and I pointed it out because I'm the bad guy for pointing it out. Heaven forbid. But as I was saying, let's get back to the chat. I don't think I ever answered that question, but I ain't going to. It's a sad enough day. Colin Hipburn chimed in, and said, double super secret question. Where now do you store your Macs? Oh, they're all in a big old drawer in the top of my cabinet in there. It's got one of them drawers that goes all the way across. It's one of those tabletop cabinets. It's got a big drawer goes all the way across, just full of magazines. And if you're asking, how do I tell which magazine is for what gun, doing it like that, once they're out of the package, the ones that are out of the packages in there, which is dozens and dozens and dozens of them. If you're asking how I tell which ones of those go in what gun, well, I don't. I have no clue. I have to, every time I have to be like, does it fit this one? You can get indicators like, oh, it's made in Italy. So it's probably for a Beretta, and you know what generally they look like, but a lot of them look the same. It's a little hard sometimes to tell which ones are for which, especially if they're aftermarket, and the base plates might be a little different. But that's where I keep them. It's no secret. Charles Shanice chimed in and said, thanks for updating my subscribe star to the Fur Friends level. I was going to do that today, and it was already set. Well, you sent me an email saying, do I qualify for this? And I said, yes, once I send them out. I sent out most of those already. You're just waiting because you weren't on there when I sent them out. But once I get all the knives given away, I'm going to make a post office run. And not until. Sean Bain chimed in, made a donation here, and said, been living at work, have some money saved, going shopping this weekend. As far as the car, leave it be. Let them check it on the rack and check it. Let them put it on the rack and check it. Yeah, I probably should. Don't know. I'm not good at leaving things alone. But. Hail Phil, this is Paul Beidenbach. What is your favorite season of the year and why? I probably like fall best. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it's still kind of warm. It's sunny quite a bit. So I probably like fall. We don't get a lot of rain in the fall. It's not that cold. It's in the 60s usually, and that's what I like, high 50s, low 60s. So I'm going to say fall. Same thing in West Virginia. Fall was my favorite time of the year. Spring is nice too, but it's a little rainy. So, because winter and into spring is our rainy season here. Paul Beidenbach, that was him. And now next is Chrissy Jones. Chrissy Jones is here. Hail Phil, what holsters did you get for your PX4? I don't know. I'm sure I have some, but I haven't had one in a while. I know I've got a belly band for it, for a PX4. And I know I got a couple of Kydex ones for it. I probably have a leather one for it, but I don't know what they were. So I don't know. I think I had an Alien gear for it, but that's an inside waistband. And I got an Alien gear belly band for the subcompact. But I never ever bought the subcompact. I was planning on it, but then never did. So Jason Thompson chimed in and said, here's something that Dominic Izzo put up in a question. How come burning the American flag is desecration, but thin blue line isn't? That's true. Same thing. The thin blue line is desecration of the flag. When they put it on the American flag, that's a no-no. I've said that before. That is a desecration of the flag, using the flag as your logo and putting a blue line on it. I especially hate the ones I've seen that have the upside down flag. They have the flag upside down with the blue line on it. Fuck you. That was Officer Tater Hater. And then we got Johnny Mandrick as our last person weighing in here today. And he said, will it cheer you up that when these YouTubers get called to the stand, Sig is going to eat them alive with Discovery? No, because they're going to get what they wanted. They're going to get notoriety, just being mentioned in the papers. They're going to get a big bunch of subs. Their advertising network is going to throw some money at them. It's just, they're going to get a lot of views on YouTube and make money. I mean, she makes good views on YouTube. I'm sure she's making a couple $100 a day on YouTube. So it's I guess, worth it to some people to make a couple $100 a day to sell out the people they're supposed to be supporting. And I'm not saying she's one of the worst offenders of it, but it seems to be a trend. All right, let's see. I think that's all the super chats for today. Well, no, we got a couple over here coming in via the YouTubes. The Leslie Feinberg Gun Club says, please talk about the hypocrisy over the trans shooter and people advocating taking away trans people's gun rights. Boy, if anybody does that, if anyone in the gun community, I supposedly heard today that Washington gun law was kind of suggesting that maybe that'd be okay. I don't know because I haven't watched his video, but it wouldn't surprise me because he's a fucking shill and a sellout and a bigot, apparently. But yeah, if anybody would ever say, we got to take gun rights away from trannies because, and then someone will always post that, look at all these shooters that were tranny. No, maybe 2 of them. They list like 20. And it's like, no, a lot of that was just bullshit that came out in the beginning. They're trans because they said their pronouns were they, them. No, that's just a sign of respect in the younger community. That doesn't make them trans. So that whole notion that the last 20 mass shooters have been trans, that's garbage. It's maybe 2 of them. And here's the thing, even if it was every one of them, if you start saying it's okay to take gun rights away from this people then because they can't be trusted, well, then it's easy for people to point their fingers at white guys and say they can't be trusted. Because out of the last 100 mass shooters, the vast majority of them have been men, and most of them have been white. So watch what you say and what you do. That's ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons I was depressed today. I was like, it's gotten to where, what's the hope left for the gun community and gun rights in general? People in the gun community, they cheer tyranny as long as it's harming the right people. They cheer exclusion and violations of rights and infringements of rights as long as it's happening to the right people. They'll even suggest violating rights of certain people. And once that starts being the norm, which it seems to have been, well, then there's no hope for the gun community or gun rights. There's no hope for this country. Eventually, this country is going to separate into segments. And I hate to break it to the people that are in that lower third, you're going to die of poverty, because once you don't have that federal money coming in, there ain't no way you're going to be able to support yourselves. Everything from Texas over to the Carolinas is all taker states. Every one of them through there, taker state, taker state, taker state, taker state. So, which is odd because some of them are big tourist states and some of them make oil, yet they're still taker states. Well, the reason Texas is a taker state because all that oil money goes into the pockets of 1% and everybody else lives in poverty. So once the government money stops coming in, those places ain't going to do well. And unfortunately, the places where I live will do very well. California, Washington, Oregon, they'll probably band together with, the East Coast with New York and everything else. 90% of the US GPA right there. Not GPA. GNP. 90% of the GNP right there. Just those states joined together. So they'll do just fine. Unfortunately, we won't have a lot of rights because I'm sure they'll rewrite the Constitution. But money will be flowing. Let's see here. Where was I? I think that was the last of the super chats. Let me make sure we're still caught up over here. And G-Web's donated some memberships. We got a couple people weighing in over here again. Edward Howerton chimed in and says, I'm all for women in law enforcement, and I am for women in combat. Moves to with the caveat they meet the same standard as the men. If they really want to be equal and meet the standard, then cool. But they don't, and they can't. And the one or two that might, well, I'm fine with that too. But usually with their gender and that kind of behavior comes an attitude also. So they'll have to be watched just like most of the cops have to. They won't be any better than the men. They'll be just as bad as those muscle-brained morons. But yeah, if they want to meet the same standards, but unfortunately, that's not how it's done. They meet a much lower standard, and then we have to take special precautions to protect them when they serve. And that all comes out of our pockets. For the illusion of equality. It isn't equality if the standards have to be changed. We want to be equal, but we want to be able to be equal without having to do the same things or held to the same standards, and we want to be protected while we're doing it. Well, it's not equal. So you don't want equal. If you have to say about any job, I'd like to have that job, but I don't meet the requirements. That's unfair. Well, as long as those requirements aren't that you have to be a certain color, a certain religion, a certain sex, or something like that you can't change, well, then it's not a problem with equality. It's a problem with you just don't meet the criteria for the job. Sean Bain chimed in and said, go team beat us. Go team beat us. Let me see, where was I at? Looks like we got a sale in order too. So what was the order? Who bought something? Somebody bought something. I thought I saw it come across. Yes, it's Officer Tater Hater. What'd he get? He got the Subjugate and Punish t-shirt. I almost wore that t-shirt today, but I decided to wear Prep a Pig because I wasn't going to do a video in front of the camera today. And I'm like, I can wear my Prep a Pig shirt. I usually don't wear it because there's a lot of green in it, and I'm doing a green screen. I was just going to be filming down to range, so that's just filming. So I was like, I can wear my Prep Pig shirt. So I wore it, and then what I do, I ended up coming up here and doing a video in front of the screen, which meant I had to like go through and double layer the picture and have to crop around the Prep a Pig thing so that when you could see through the Prep a Pig shirt here on the green screen layer, there was a cropped layer underneath that made it to where you could at least see the design still. So I went through a lot of shit for that, because every time I do something that ends up with green in it and you can see through me, well, I can't handle that in the video. So I have to double layer the image, and then I go to the bottom image and I turn green screen off on it. And then I take the select tool and I select the part of the shirt that's actually an image, and I layer those two together. And that way, when you see through the front layer that's green screened, you see the one layer behind it, the cropped layer that isn't green screened. And then you see the background, because the cropped layer doesn't cover anything but the logo. So it's a hassle. But he bought a shirt. That was the point. And I almost wore that shirt today. That way I can send that through tonight if I read it now, because if I skip it and don't read it till tomorrow, I have to leave it unsent through so that I'll still see it as a new order tomorrow. But since I read it, I can send it through tonight. Excuse me. Where was I? This is John Heasley chiming in saying, did you get my first super chat? Which should I buy, the Walther PDP SF or the CZ Shadow to carry? Probably use it for the range. Well, for the range, well, get the PDP steel frame. That's a nice heavy gun for the range. That's heavier. It's got a steel frame, not aluminum. So it'd be a great range gun. If you're going to get the carry, well, then get the Shadow 2 carry. Aluminum frame, lighter, and amazing gun. So I shot it some a couple days ago. Shot it some. Because Caden, once he got the targets put up, he wanted me. We were down there last night, actually. That was last night he put the targets up. So why are the fucking briars over the path? But, they might have been yesterday, too. I walked down yesterday. We went down there last night. He hung up the targets, and he shot his carry gun. So, and I got some film of him shooting his carry gun. And I still ain't done a video of him choosing his first carry gun. I need to do the video. All right, let me get back to the chat here. But yeah, the PDP steel frame if it's a range gun. Ben Coors chimed in and says, what % of the gun community, YouTube and otherwise, fall into the FUD category? I'd like to say 20-25%, but it's probably 70-75%. If you take the main part of being a FUD, which is, not everybody needs everything, and some people don't deserve the same equality as far as rights and stuff. But if you take that part of it, I'm going to say probably 80-85% of the gun community. How many people do you know that are absolutists when it comes to the gun rights, the Second Amendment? Hickok definitely ain't. Hickok's as elitist as fuck. He's the biggest FUD I've ever had the misfortune of listening to in person. None of the other gun channels, I can't think of one. We've all seen them online talking about how they don't care if certain people are banned, or in their chats talking about it's more about the money for them than anything else. And, you know, so we know the big gun channels aren't. So, so it's not many. And of those 12 to 25-year-olds that drive their viewership and make them their money, most of them don't even understand what the Second Amendment even means. And they definitely don't understand what it means to be an American. They're the kinds that think you should get a year in jail for burning the flag. No, that's communist kind of bullshit right there. That's what happens when you live in like North Korea and you get caught stealing a sign or something, or defacing a picture of Kim Jong-un, like that American kid did. You know, stole a banner and got killed basically for it. So tortured and then died. That's what that kind of bullshit is. It's not easy being an American. There's a famous quote that talks about how it is not at all easy to be American, because to be an American means that you know that the American thing is for you to support the right for some asshole to burn a flag. It's being American means you support the right of someone to kneel when the national anthem's going on. Maybe you'd never do it, but you know that being American, and we saw this failure huge in the gun community when people are protesting across the country about either George Floyd or anything else, or government overreach or police brutality. And you say things like, well, that protest should be bombed from the sky, or why aren't the police going in there shooting? That's not being an American. That's being a fascist asshole. And that's pro-freedom people cheering for fascism. Your role as an American should say, you see those people over there protesting police brutality? I don't agree with them at all. Well, I do. I personally agree with them. I don't like the police either. But if you don't, be like, I don't agree with them at all. I think the police are the best and the brightest. But you know what? Anybody tries to stop them, I'll be the first guy to put a gun in their face, because that's their right, and no one has a right to stop them. But gun community failed that test huge a couple of years ago. That's one of the reasons I despise Guns and Gear now. I don't despise him. I don't like him. Don't respect him. That's why I despise Guns and Gadgets, because he's one of the biggest liars and sellouts. They were first to jump on that propaganda machine to turn everybody in the gun community against people exercising their First Amendment rights. And unfortunately, like I said, that 18 to 25-year-old crowd that runs the gun community online, they're more than happy to cheer it, because they felt like it made them belong, that the gun guys are going to like me. And I'm sure I'm losing subs as we talk tonight, but that's the way it's going to be. I hate to break it, people. People send me messages all the time like, if you just did this or just did that, you'd probably be more popular. Don't want to fucking do this or that. If being more popular means selling out your principles, then who the fuck wants to be popular? If being popular means being a lying fucking shill that will sell your soul for views and money and popularity, who wants to be that? Well, we see who wants to be that. And I tell you one thing right now from personal experience, most of these people aren't someone you want to spend 5 minutes with. A lot of them are racists. A lot of them are elitists. And a lot of them are just plain old terrible people. In fact, I've got audio of one of these big gun channels talking about how, they know this other big gun channel is super racist and super homophobic, but they don't care. They make them money. And that's what matters to them, is that something grows their channel and makes them money. I've got that audio saved right there on my hard drive of a phone call that was recorded from them. And I've played it for people before a long time ago. So, tell me how great these people are. You're following assholes that sell you out. And every time they sell you out, you say, thank you, sir. Can I have another? Just like right now, every time the Trump administration steps on the neck of gun rights, you all say, thank you, sir. Can I have another? And here's the thing. If you're one of the people that's getting mad right now and leaving the chat, where just 20 people just left the chat, if you're someone getting mad and leaving the chat, well, then I'm talking about you. You're one of these spineless little worms. If you're getting mad and unsubbing, canceling your Patreon, well, you won't be missed because that's a clear indicator that you're one of the fucking people I'm talking about. You're one of the mindless, spineless, bottom pieces of crap that I'm talking about. And you just admitted it by, oh, how dare he call me that? Well, I wasn't calling people that aren't that. I was talking about the ones that are that. And the fact that you're offended by that means you're one of them. If I started to rant right now about pedophiles, well, you wouldn't be offended unless you were a pedophile. If I started a rant right now about communists, well, you wouldn't be offended unless you were a communist. Same thing with the low-life, brainless piece of shit people that support the worst element in the gun community. You're only offended right now because you know I'm talking about you. So fuck off. Been a real cheery chat so far. But let's get back on topic. Let's see if I got any questions coming in. I don't know if I did or not. If I answered them all or what or whatever. I got distracted on that Ben Coors question about the foods. That got me started, got me angry. Then we got Clinton Barella, and we all know you can stand under his Barella. And he said, no, that's not what he said. That was me. Excuse me. He said, hoping things get better. Let's help some animals and do things to win the favor of Phil. Well, I would love to see the channel getting bigger and making money and helping more animals and stuff. I don't see that happening. We're getting smaller every day. Like I said, we've lost several patrons today. We lost 3 Subscribe Star supporters. Guess we're probably supporters of Liberty Doll, and they think I'm attacking her. So the channel's shrinking every day. I don't think we've had a where we were bigger at the end of the week. We've had days where we were bigger than yesterday, but we ain't had a week where we're bigger at the end of the week than we were before. Now we've had good day for subs for a couple of days there because the algorithm was down. So had really good subs for those days. Didn't really have an increase of earnings or anything, but got a lot more views. The thing about my channel being restricted is I don't get earnings on videos really. If I put up a video and it makes 20,000 views, which is good for one of my videos. A lot of people be like, oh, you probably made $20. I'm like, oh, no, I made like $1.30 from YouTube Red because my channel's restricted. I don't get advertising revenue. If you look at my page, I've showed y'all my page many times. Every single video restricted, which means they can put ads on there. I just don't get paid for them. So if I put a video up and gets good views, it doesn't make me any more money than, if I put up a video right now that exploded and it got 20,000 views first day, I'd probably make like $1.50 more than I would if I didn't put up any video. So that's not what drives me. Views don't drive me. I would love to have more eyes on my channel, be able to reach more people and hopefully convince more people of what's going on. But I ain't going to do the things that you need to do that. Because for one, if I did it, like if back in the day when I had the chance to be riding the ride with, Military Arms Channel and Iraqi veteran, etc., if I had said yes, well, I'd be lying too now because I know I'm weak. If I was making $1,000 a day off of YouTube, like most of them are, I would be like, fuck, I'm just going to keep that money rolling in. I'll give 500 to charity, keep 500 for me, and I'll seem like a good person, but I'll still be making bank. And I know that. So I'd tell the lies they wanted me to tell. I would, ask the questions they want me to ask. I would ignore the things they want me to ignore. I'd promote the things they want me to promote because I got used to that money. There's one of the channels that I was talking about. They're the really racist ones, by the way, who, he has to keep the money flowing. His wife got used to getting massages and manicures. They sold their trailer, bought a big fancy house, so they got to keep the money flowing. So you got to sell your dignity. I didn't sell my dignity, mainly because the money wasn't good enough at the time. Now those people are making millions. Literally millions of dollars. I wish I'd have sold my fucking soul. That's one of the reasons I'm angry. I'm poor, but I got my dignity, but I'd rather have millions of dollars. Let me get back to the conversation. I think I answered all the questions, though. That was Clinton Barella. I think he was the last super chat. Yes, he was the last super chat. Let's see. We got any emails? Let me see. See if I see anything. Hey, Yank. This is, oh, I should show the picture. Hold on. We're getting to the emails now, is what I'm saying. Hey, Yank. I'm Peter from Vermont. Oh, so you're the Peter from Vermont. I was always wondering who that was. Carrying my Glock 30 on my right hip, about 330 position in an outside waistband Kydex holster from a custom holster maker here in Vermont. Thanks. I can see it. I also see him sucking his gut in there, trying to. But that's because I know what a sucked in gut looks like. Believe me, I've almost passed out sometimes taking a picture of my carry gun. There's been times I'm like, here's a picture of my carry gun, and almost pass out before I can get it taken, because you got to suck your gut in and turn just right and take the picture, and you can't breathe while you're doing it. And I've been like, ooh, taking a little too long. I don't got no oxygen. Squirrel TP says, oops, I got to share the picture. I didn't share the picture. Didn't share the. Oh my God, okay. I thought this would be gross for a minute, but it doesn't appear to be gross. I think my daughter wants to try the squirrel method of toilet paper of yours sooner than later. I walked into the bathroom the other day. My 2-year-old daughter was stuffing the toilet full of valuable toilet paper. Okay, I don't know what that means really about the squirrel method of yours. I don't know if I have squirrel method. I buy all kinds of toilet paper because I'm old. Every time you got to go Costco, you got to buy a package of toilet paper. Even if you've only used, you got to buy that big bin, even if you've only used one section of it so far. You still buy another one. I've got it stacked like 7 deep in there. Of those great big, this big rolls of toilet paper. I got that stacked like 7 packs deep. I could run out of toilet paper, or we could, America could run out of toilet paper tomorrow. I'd be okay for another year or two. Easy. And that's not counting all the wet wipes. I got cases of wet wipes. Because I buy a case of those pretty much every time we go too. Let's see. Google's Gemini was able to find a video from Liberty Doll channel. Okay, I read that earlier, talking about they found one negative video from her. Yeah, I saw that. Just don't talk about innuendo and suppose it's leaked. My God. Okay, I've got the damn search on up here. That's why I can't find anything. Hold on. I got to go back through the emails again. I had it searching for the word liberty. So I got to start again on the emails here. Brandon Austin said, if you had to conceal carry a full-size 1911, how would you do it? On my hip at about 330. Just drape a t-shirt over it or a button-up shirt. Outside waistband. I've carried a 6-inch 1911 that way. So I definitely would carry, what size he went full size? That's 5-inch. Yeah, I carry 5-inch that way easy. I've carried a 6-inch that way. And if I was going to carry a 1911, where is he fucking going? Caden is starting his car. I told him, hold on. No, I can't leave during the chat. Here, hold on. Let me text him. Where are you going? Let's see here. But yeah, I just carried on my hip. It does say that none of the guns have gone off due to malfunction. He sent me the article from that was Walther. Colin Hepburn said, yes, I donated twice. Damn sausage fingers. Oh, I don't know. I didn't pay attention. Frank Rodriguez said, Pro-Hamas activists target Microsoft leaders' homes. How is anybody pro-Hamas? This is just, I'm pro-terrorist organization. Well, no, you can be like pro-Palestinian people. If you came up to me right now and said, I'm pro-Palestinian people, I'd be like, well, I hope everybody is, that nobody wants any innocent person to get hurt. But if you came to me and said, I'm pro-Hamas, I'd smack you in the face. So get out of my fucking yard. Because you'd have to come in my yard to come up to me because I don't go anywhere. I've had my car now for in 6 days, it'll be 2 months. I've got 438 miles on it. Show you I don't go anywhere. But getting back to the emails over here. David Hayden said via email, where will you be when your diarrhea comes back? Also, favorite fast food like Waffle House and In-N-Out Burger. Well, Waffle House is not fast food. They actually cook it. Waffle House is like Shoney's. So I love Waffle House. We don't have them around here, which is probably a good thing, or I'd be even fatter than I am. But I love Waffle House. I would say my favorite fast food, that you go in and you get quick, is probably Long John Silver's. I love Long John Silver's. And where will I be when my diarrhea comes back? Well, probably right here in my house, because I don't go anywhere. And I eat a lot of cottage cheese, and I'm lactose intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm addicted to cottage cheese and pineapples. So, yeah. And coffee, I put whipping cream in my coffee. That's my one really sweet thing I do is I put heavy cream in my coffee. And I'm lactose intolerant. So when I want to get my bowels moving, a cup of coffee or some cottage cheese, and I know exactly where I'll be in 20 minutes. Let me get back over here to the chat, see if I got anything coming in. Activities, all transactions. Clinton Barella, did I answer all these? I answered Clinton Barella, pretty sure. That was the win the favorite Phil. Who came after him? Did I read that? Mike Rogana, did I read this one? Phil Tithe and gun question. Shot my Beretta 96 Brigadier Elite. I got one of those right there. 357 Sig barrel at the range this weekend. Shot 50 plus, then switched to hollow 50 plus a full metal jacket, then switched to hollow point. Failure to eject every hollow point. Change extractor springs. If it worked perfectly on the other ones, I mean, you might have broken it before you switched over, I guess. But yeah, check your extractor. Were those full metal jackets steel cased or anything? But I would guess you broken it. If you failed, you had to fail to eject on every round at the end of the session. You've probably broke your extractor, not your ejector, your extractor. So check your extractor. People get those two things confused. That was Michael Rogana. Then we got John Heasley again, chimed in, said, did my first chat come through? Well, I read it, didn't I? Didn't I? I think I did. You were right after Edward Howerton. Yes, I told you to get the Walther PDP. I told you to get the Walther PDP. Was there something before that? No, you didn't do nothing before that. Oh, no, wait, maybe you did. Hold on. Oh, and I read that one too. That was these gun tubers need to get a grip and stop helping the anti-gun crowd. Yeah, I remember I went off on a rant. So yeah, I've got that one too. I thought I read it. Maybe I didn't read it out loud, but I read it. It set me off. Terrace Bentsack. I don't know what that says. Good evening, week of rants, Yankee. Keep it up. Probably a dumb question. Why do some revolvers use different metals on the hammer trigger than the body? The finish always looks raw uncoated. Well, usually it's because those are a lot of times harder pieces. They got to be strong. They got to be really strong. So there's oftentimes they're treated in a different way. Like they don't want to just do a stainless steel solid piece. They want to do a carbon steel piece and harden it and all this other stuff. So it's generally that. And sometimes it's just aesthetics. Sometimes, like with Smith & Wesson, everyone always liked the case hardened hammer and trigger. It was just a traditional thing to do. But usually it's because of material. Because they do have to be a little bit stronger. Like the body of the gun has to be strong, but in a completely different way than the hammer and the trigger. Mainly the hammer, but trigger also, because you're pulling on it, but you don't want to bend it. So they're made in different ways. They're tempered in different ways. So they're usually a different metal. And sometimes it's just for looks. And sometimes it looks good. Sometimes it looks bad. Like I don't really like it when they go too extreme, like on the combat magnums, where the ejector, the hammer, and the trigger are all black. I'm not real fond of that. I like just make them all the same. Where's my combat magnums? I know I got them. There's one. Where's the 69? There it is. Yeah, see how they made the extractors, the hammer, not the extractor, the ejector rod, the hammer, the cylinder release, and the trigger. They made them all black. I don't like that on a stainless gun. I took the parts I could get off easy, which was the cylinder release, and I changed it to the stainless steel Hogue ones, and that made it look better. I could handle the trigger and the hammer being different, but I didn't like it with that extra little piece on the side. It just didn't strike me right. Well, hopefully it doesn't strike me at all, but I don't like being hit. I've had my nose broke too many times. Let's see here. Where are we at? We're almost out of time. Have we got all the emails done? Edgar Cortez sent an email, said, Yank, I don't want to talk on your show because my Amazon Fire will not lend itself to talking. However, please read my email out loud. I'm glad you said that because I'm already doing it. Please read my email out loud to your members. I sent you an email this morning about the Minnesota State Attorney General remarks that really incensed me. Oh, did I see that? I don't remember seeing that. Hold on, let me go look. I got to look for it. Here it is right here. All right, I'm going to read this out loud. So be ready. And remember, I'm speaking for Edgar Cortez. Not necessarily myself. I'll probably be speaking for me too, but this is for Edgar Cortez. The Minnesota State Attorney General made the remark this morning that red flag laws and ghost gun legislation have reduced the incidence of mass shootings and that most states should have similar legislation. In addition, he felt that an assault weapons ban would decrease mass shootings. Before I go further, no evidence of any of that. None. You notice he says he feels, because he knows if anyone challenges him on it, he don't got a fucking leg to stand on. Then he said that individuals who own a lot of guns should be on a list and monitored more closely. Apparently, the shooter in Minneapolis shooting owned many guns besides the 3 he used in the shooting. I think I'd probably be on that list. This shooter was a transgender female who changed his name from Robert to Robin. As a mental health professional, you know that this is a vulnerable group of people, and I suspect that he wanted to share his anger and rage with others. I am surmising this. Well, I would just be doing that too, because, like I said, I never talked to him. So, in any case, I wonder if anyone in our channel audience agrees that this idiot state attorney general, that those laws would decrease the incidence of mass shootings. I think that you could generate several questions for your viewers in STS from these remarks. This incident underscores why I always carry a concealed handgun to church. I've solved the problem with that, just not going to church. I don't need Jeebus. If they shoot me, then they damn well better kill me because I'm shooting back Edgar Cortez sent from my iPhone. So there, it's read out loud. And I couldn't really think of anything I disagreed with. But yeah, that's infuriating when politicians get up and go. And I noticed yesterday, they got 2 kids shot in a church by the shooter. Well, we lost 2 lives, 2 children's lives. They have a mass rally with thousands of people. They organize it. Moms Demand Action organize it. They pay for it. They get it there. Done. They're making fortune off of it, getting donations, etc. But how many kids died in other ways that day? Probably you could find several car wrecks where an equal number of children died. They're not out there organizing rallies for more automotive safety because that don't make them money. And that's an actual industry that can fight back against bullshit. So that's what really pissed me off, is that they're out there making fucking money off of dead children. And not only, cannibalizing, these poor kids' lives by doing that, but also kind of disrespecting all the kids that died in other ways that could also be prevented and could more easily be prevented without damaging people's liberty and ability to defend themselves and their country, their families, etc. But they don't do that. It's kind of like the same thing I say about these doctors that come out and talk about guns are the worst. We have to stop the gun violence. We have to take guns away from people. I'm like, well, when you see people in the emergency room over, kids in the emergency room, is it more, do you see more gun violence deaths or people in the emergency room period? Or do you see more motorcycle deaths and automobile deaths? Well, they're like, well, cars and motorcycles. And I'm like, well, then why aren't you out there campaigning for better safety in cars and motorcycles? Why is it the guns you're attacking when it's not the biggest threat? It's because you make money off that. Someone came to you and paid you. Someone wants to use you as a spokesperson to mislead people, and you're okay with it. The Leslie Feinberg Gun Club says, please remember that anger over saying something people don't like is short-lived, but people remember intellectual integrity forever. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that's true anymore. I think nowadays with the internet, whoever wins the popularity contest is who gets heard, unfortunately. Let's see here. Where were we? We're almost out of time. We got like 5 more minutes. Well, actually, I think we got started a little late, so we probably got like 10 more minutes, but we're running out of time. Let me see if I got all the super chats answered, all transactions. We got one more here. Jeffrey Vaughn chimed in on the chat here, and he said, Trevor Moore was a member of the Whitest Kids You Know. He did die a couple of years ago. His is the pinnacle of satirical videos. Time for Guillotines is a song about bipartisan political reform. I thought that was, he had some political stuff I agreed with. The same problems we're facing here in this country now was faced in France long ago. And the way they dealt with it and solved the problem was guillotines for the super rich and the corrupt. Corrupt politicians and the super rich that owned them. They cut their fucking heads off. And we're about to that point. People think that you're someone that would never support rebellion. I'm like, I wear shirts all the time that say it's basically time for rebellion or be prepared for rebellion, things like that. I'm like, do you not get the point? I tell you, I'm pretty sure and I get upset when it looks like there's never going to be one, because like I said, we got the people on the right that I thought would be the people on the front line against fascism and gun control and all this other stuff. And they're cheering police states and cheering someone who's actively engaging in gun control and refusing to admit that they are because they can't handle it, because they still have to worship this person. So they stick their fingers in their ears and they hum. These are the people I thought would be fighting the fight. They ain't gonna fight no fights. As long as the other, the people of the community, as long as the people that are the fascists in charge can direct their anger at, look at those people over there that you don't like. We're just going to infringe on them. We're just going to punish them. We're just going to be fascist to them. Well, they'll be like, oh, that's fine then. As long as I still get to watch football and go to church and everyone has to worship the God I tell them to, everybody has to live the way I tell them to, I'm fine with that. That's still freedom on my part. I'm still free to tell everybody what to do. And as long as you agree with me and you're telling them what I wanted to tell them to do, that's fine. But then when they start telling you what to do, like, no, you don't get to worship any God. Yeah, football, you don't get to watch football unless we let you. Well, then it'll be too late for you to do anything because you already surrendered everybody else's rights and now there's nobody to fight for yours. And that's one of the reasons I get so upset. Because the way I thought things would play out in this country, it ain't playing out that way. Let's see, where was I? But yes, Jeffrey Vaughn was absolutely right. Time for guillotine. Well, he said it was assault, but he's right. It is time for guillotines. Trevor Moore is right. It's time for guillotines. And some of the people in the gun community need to be the first ones to go to those guillotines, or at least have their YouTube accounts canceled. Of course, then again, that would be against what I believe, because I don't think anyone should be silenced, even if they're wrong. But I wish people were smart enough to know that those people are wrong, but unfortunately, they are not. Chris weighed in via super chat here and said, went to the range this weekend and decided it's time for a PCC just for something fun and different. What do you recommend for under $1,500? Well, you know, I don't think Beretta makes that little storm rifle they made. What was that thing called? The CX4? If that's still around, you can find one of them and get one of them. Them things is awesome. Otherwise, I would say if you can own one, look into those little folding FPCs from Smith & Wesson. They got them in 10 millimeter. And I think they're well under that, aren't they? How much do those things cost? Let me look and see real quick. Smith FPC, Smith & Wesson FPC. Let's see if it tells the $6.99. Get yourself one of them. Well, those little folding FPCs would be very fun. Comes in 10 millimeter, and get yourself something to go with it. Shoots the same mags. I would definitely recommend them. I want one. I can't say they're the most awesome thing in the world, but they're basically a Smith & Wesson M&P with a stock on it and a longer barrel, so they should be fine, just like the M&Ps are. I have no qualms about endorsing them because the technology is solid. So that's my suggestion. Or get yourself a little, what's this thing I got right here that I have SBR, the CZ, whatever that thing is. Forget the name. I'm blanking on the name of the thing that's sitting right in front of me. And I could probably read the name off of it, but I can't see it. I'm blind as a bat without glasses. And I never wear my glasses. I found the world is more appealing if it's fuzzy. People look better. You know, when I put my glasses on, I'm just startled by how ugly everybody is. And me too, in the mirror. I can see the mirror. That's not good. And to make it worse, Nominal Snowman last night sent me pictures of me through the years doing the chat, talking about you age badly. I'm like, well, fuck you, bitch. You ain't exactly no prize winning peach either. Motherfucker. Still think courts will fix gun laws in Washington. While I would hope that they'll eventually enforce their rulings, I hope so. I don't think it will last long. I've come to the conclusion that I think they'll do this run of gun control, anti-gun control, trying to take things back and put things back the way they were. And they're doing that at a time while our economy and our country is collapsing, so that they can eventually in a couple of years say, look, we gave people more guns and there's more violence and poverty and hate and blah, blah, blah than ever before. We need to change that Constitution. And they'll probably get enough people behind it because of the situation at the time. I think that the courts are going to reverse a lot of laws, change a lot of things, give us a lot of our rights back. But it's part of a bigger plan to take them away that the 1%ers have concocted. And I think they were fooling some of us for a while. I was fooled, but I've started coming around to thinking what I just said. So people wonder why I'm cranky. And one of the things I'm cranky about is my health ain't great. I'm not going to be here very much longer. And I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. And I don't think most people are even going to fight. I don't think they're going to care as long as they watch football and as long as they can, afford to have cable television, afford to have a truck. That's all they care about. What they got in their four walls. That's all they care about. As long as they feel like they're free, they don't care about anybody else's rights or anybody else's stuff. So, and I ain't going to be around long, and I don't see another group of people taking it up. I see people taking up the other causes. I see a younger generation taking up a lot of causes, but it definitely ain't the causes of freedom because they don't understand what that even means. And unfortunately, most of the people, like I said, in my generation don't know what it means either. They never fought for nothing. They never experienced anything negative. It's kind of like the young gay community. They think that, oh, being okay to be gay just happened overnight. No, that was fought for. They don't know nothing about Stonewall or any of that stuff nowadays. Just like gun owners don't realize what it was like back in the 70s, 80s. This new generation. They don't realize the fights. They don't realize what was done. And they don't even recognize fascism when it shits right on their head. They'll excuse it. They'll excuse police states. They'll excuse administrations going after gun rights, saying they should be able to arbitrarily deny them simply because someone smokes a plant they don't like. So, yeah. So, this has not been a very positive chat, has it? Where are you going? Nowhere. Seeing how the new code reader worked. Did you call Les Schwab? Almost done. We got to get this down and leave for Portland. I'm not going to Portland. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. What was that? Was that just a payoff? Is that what that is? I can't imagine I got another order. No, that's just a payout. Okay. That's all thing up here says $14.95 from PayPal. It's like, or from Prettyfiles. Like, did I sell two things today? No, it was just the thing that I sold earlier is coming through. And I don't know if they ever fixed it to where you can see profit. It used to be you could see profit. Like I could see that they paid $20 plus shipping. It cost me $13 to make it plus shipping. So I made $7 profit. And now you can't see that on the page. And I sent them an email yesterday about it. And they're like, act like they didn't know anything about it. I don't know, did you change the things to where you can't see that now? Let's see. Nope, you still can't see it. So I don't know why they're doing that, but now you can't even see what profit you made. Let me make sure we're caught up with the super chats because we are out of time from this miserable, angry, disappointed chat. More disappointed chat. Let me make sure we're all caught up with the super chats, and we will get over to Donald Trump is doing a fundraiser because he wants to send troops to Chicago. Yay, fascism. Yay, police states. And that's what we're supposed to say now, right? All right, I am all caught up with everything. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I appreciate it. Once I sign off here, we'll do the drawing for the knife. But thanks for coming. I do appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who participates. Thanks for everybody who listened to my rant. Because it's been a very disappointing month in the gun community. And I think it's just going to get worse. So be prepared for some more rants. But thanks everybody for coming, participating. We'll find good things to talk about too, I hope. Maybe I'll even get a new gun eventually I can talk about. But we'll see. But like I said, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody participating in the conversation, supporting the program, supporting everything we do. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do. Believe me. Go over and become a $2 Patreon member. We need patrons right now more than ever. We are a targeted channel, so help us out. But like I said, thanks for everything. I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.